Right, who's pumped for the gym next week? Who's ready to get those gains back? Have you lost your gains that you had before? Have you lost some of your fitness? Do you want them back quicker than ever? Because if you do, then you've got to understand the relevance of photobiomodulation in your quest for that. I said yesterday about recovery levels, and what happens if you have better recovery levels. You're able to push yourself further in the gym. You're able to spend more time in the gym. You're able to work at a higher intensity because your recovery is better. Instead of taking 2 days to recover, you might only need 1. But today I'm going to talk about the actual performance side. I'm going to talk about a paper that looked at the performance side of photobiomodulation. And what they found was they took identical twins, monozygotic twins. Basically, they came from the same egg, right? So identical twins. And they had one of them train with photobiomodulation and one of them with sham photobiomodulation. And this was a blind controlled study again. And what they found was, again, but obviously it's only 2 people, so it's not exactly a large scale study. I must say that, obviously. But what they found was the differences were huge. And as far as what they found was that the red light actually had changed the gene expression going on. And if you've ever seen those really, really muscly cows, I think they're called Belgian Blues, or those really muscly dogs, like ridiculously muscly dogs, they have a mutation in the gene expression for something called myostatin, which basically is something that stops you putting on muscle or causes atrophy, breakdown of muscle. And what red light and photobiomodulation appeared to do in this case is that it down-regulated myostatin. It down-regulated the gene expression that coded for myostatin. All right. So what it did is it turned down the nodule that said, no, we don't want to put any muscle on, and it allowed people to put on muscle. It allowed the one that had photobiomodulation to put on muscle. And so what we see is photobiomodulation isn't just about the mitochondrial efficiency, and the recovery aspect of it, because they also found that it reduced inflammatory markers, and more importantly, it supercharged one of the oxidative stress defense mechanisms that the body has, called superoxide dismutase. And so what you're actually getting is improvements in mitochondrial function, improvements in recovery, a change in gene expression that turns down the part of your body, the part of your system that says don't build any muscle, and allows you to build muscle, whilst increasing protein synthesis, so increased the ability to build muscle, and also at the same time increased your body's ability to defend against oxidative stress. I mean, if you are looking for something that is kind of like a super pill for training, then surely you have found it. I'll say that again. It downregulates myostatin, and myostatin is about inhibiting too much muscle growth, basically. All right, you see that in the cows, Belgian Blues, etc. They are ridiculous. If you want to find out what a mutated gene for myostatin looks like, just type in Belgian Blue cows and look at those whopping great tanks of cows. Anyway, so this doesn't mutate the gene, obviously, but it temporarily changes the gene expression and allows you to put on more muscle. But at the same time, so as well as down-regulating that stops you putting on muscle, it upregulates your ability to put on muscle by upregulating the protein synthesis. And at the same time, it upregulates a oxidative stress defense, namely with something called what was I talking about? Superoxide dismutase. All right, so you are preventing oxidative stress. You are able to increase protein synthesis. You are able to downregulate the signals sent to stop building muscle. That's what they found. And what they found overall between these two twins was that the twin that had red light therapy was able to do more maximal load, had reduced fatigue, had reduced creatine kinase or muscle breakdown, and had increased muscle thickness by the end of it, which is kind of understandable if you're going to reduce the amount of myostatin and increase the amount of protein synthesis. So I say again, if you are someone that is serious about their training, wants to get their body back, and their body back in the best way, and their body back without any side effects, don't forget red light photobiomodulation has no side effects, then you seriously need to look at photobiomodulation. You seriously need to consider, right, if photobiomodulation can reduce some of the inflammation, but at the same time prevent or supercharge my body's own defenses. It can downregulate the things that cause atrophy and stop me putting on muscle, and upregulate the things that do put on muscle. Shouldn't I seriously consider this? I think so. If you've got any questions, as always, send me a message. Get enough light in your life,